In this video, I'm going to share 3 tips for running YouTube ads that have helped our clients generate 7 or 8 figures. My name is Shash and I run a 7-figure YouTube ad agency where we have generated over 25 million in revenue for our clients with YouTube ads. So that's why you should listen to me, and that's why these 3 tips are really useful. Now, before I get into these 3 tips, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. I want to keep making these kind of videos for you, so give me some love. Now let's get into it. So tip number 1 is better tracking. Now, what I mean by better tracking is using Google Click IDs. So Google Click IDs, what they do is when somebody clicks on an ad and you have Google Click IDs set up, it adds like a parameter at the end. And then let's say that person opts in, so your CRM will actually capture that parameter. And let's say they go and you have a phone call with them and they buy a $50,000 offer. Then you can basically in the CRM update the fact that this person bought the $50,000 product, and then you can send that data back into Google Ads. Now, usually with Google Ads, tracking sales over the phone are really hard, and also with Google Ads, tracking is a little inaccurate. So for a lot of webinar funnels, right, we notice that tracking is off by 20 to 30%, which is just absolutely horrendous. So Google Ads, basically the default tracking, which is based on pixel, let's say you put a tracking code on the thank you page after they buy, it's a little inaccurate. So what we suggest instead is to use Google Click IDs, which is far more accurate because you're basically attaching this parameter and it stays with that person in the CRM until the very end. Now, another really great way of tracking is using Hyros, which is Alex Becker's tracking tool, which we have a bunch of clients on. And again, that's a pretty good tool. You need to know how to use it, but it's far better for tracking than the default Google Ads tracking, and it's very useful if you have multiple sources of traffic. So that's tip number 1. You want to make sure you have razor sharp tracking, because that allows you to cut down campaigns that are not effective, and it allows you to scale campaigns that are effective that you might have otherwise missed just because of the fact that your tracking didn't show those purchases. So the second tip is to build an infrastructure to be able to create a lot of video ads. So what I mean by that is at our agency, we have basically a team dedicated to creatives. So we have a copywriter that copyrights really great video ads. We have production partners, so we have partner agencies that do video ads. We also have freelance videographers. We have other videographers that will do these video ads for our clients. And then we also have an editing team. So we have like multiple editors that will create variations of ads. They can create ads from B-roll. They can create all kinds of stuff with that. So what that allows us to do is essentially able to create an infinite number of video ads from footage, right? Like if a client sends us footage, we can just take that and turn that into a bunch of different video ads. So that's tip number 2, right? You want to have that because creative is the biggest key to YouTube ads. You want to make sure you have tons of creative, and you're able to test a lot of video ads, and you've got to have an infrastructure where you have copywriters, where you have a video editing team, where you have people that you can reach out to and have them shoot product ads for you. And it's really important to follow the right script formula. I actually have another video on how to script a really great YouTube ad that I'll link to, so you can go check that out. Now, tip number 3 is to try custom affinity audiences. So custom affinity audiences are my favorite audiences for Google Ads. In fact, in my course, I go pretty in-depth on them and show you exactly how we do the whole research process, but I'm going to give you a brief summary of that. So custom affinity audiences. Well, let's say you plug a URL or a search term in. Google will go and find people that it thinks are similar to the people who are visiting that URL. So let's say if you sell a men's hair care product, right? And you plug in your competitor's URL, Google will go out and find people it thinks are similar to that. It's not the same exact people, but Google's like, okay, this is kind of the characteristics and traits of a person who would visit that site, and then it would find those people. And what I love about custom affinity audiences are that they're very scalable. We had at one point, there was one custom affinity audience based on one URL from a competitor that we were spending over $10,000 a day on. So these can be very powerful. And usually the way we do them is we'll build a custom affinity audience based on one competitor's URL, and we'll just do it one custom affinity audience per URL. So we're not like mixing and throwing in a bunch of URLs. We're usually just having one in there. Now, custom intent audiences also are great to look into as well. So yeah, guys, those are 3 tips for how to run YouTube ads in 2020 that will help you out. Now listen, if you're really interested in getting really razor sharp with YouTube advertising, all you gotta do is click the link below to check out our Linx digital course. You can book a call to just get a demo of the course, see inside and see what kind of stuff we have inside. And that's something that tickles your fancy. It could be really useful for you. Now, thanks for watching this video. Once again, hit me with any questions you have in the comment section and I'll see you soon. Cheers.